Before we start this video, remember to hit that like button, turn on bell notification and subscribe so you never miss another upload. Hey guys, welcome back to another daily dose of Arsenal. Yes, I've missed an upload yesterday and I apologize guys. But as I mentioned, there was not much news, man, and when there's not much news, I'm not gonna waste your guys' time uploading. It's gonna be useless. I'm just gonna be repeating the same things. But yeah, it's the start of a new week and we do have some updates. We have especially starting off with AFC on Twitter, who has mentioned an update on Bowen. So apparently from team news standings, I've not heard of them, but apparently Arsenal are trying to meet up with Jared Bowen's representatives next week. So this was tweeted on the July 23rd. It's now July 25th at the time of recording. So maybe during the week, maybe in the last next few days, we might hear an update on Jared Bowen. Now, with Jared Bowen, this rumor actually got a lot of mixed response from the Arsenal fan base. There's a lot of fans that are interested in it, and a lot of fans are just turned off by it. And I understand perfectly both sides of the argument. I think we'll just start off with transfer market. So they value him at 37 million. Obviously, we do have to remember he's English, so there's the British tax. So his value, if you had, probably goes up to 60 million with that British tax. He's played 36 games last season, 12 goals, 12 assists, brilliant. 24 goals and assists altogether. That is brilliant. That is something that Arsenal desperately need. And I think Jared Bowen doing that, especially for West Ham, a lower team. No disrespect to West Ham, but you know what I mean. A lower team is like, it would be a really good thing for Arsenal, especially to get him. But I think the issue is with Bowen. I think it's the price, and he plays as a right winger. So I think that's the type of player Arsenal are looking for. Competition to add for Saka. I think Pepe is just not looking very good for Pepe. I mean, I think it's a bit difficult with Pepe. I mean, you could argue maybe last season he hasn't been given the chance. So I think there's that argument. But I think with Bowen, you have to admit he's an upgrade on Pepe, and I'm one of Pepe's biggest fan. But I think Bowen will be a massive upgrade. I think we'll have to wait and see how this transfer goes in the next few days. We'll have to wait for any updates. But I mean, if you can get him for less than 50 million, I think that's really good for the type of player he is. You have to remember, for me, I think Arsenal need players that can hit that Premier League running. No time for adaptation. That's why I think Bowen will be perfect for it. Played in the Premier League, played for West Ham. He knows how the Premier League is. He knows the pace, so he doesn't have to adapt. We have seen many big signings fail in the Premier League because they have failed to adapt. And Bowen, he's played in that Premier League, so I think that is why, for me, like, if you're paying up to 50 million, I think it's quite worth it for Jared Bowen, because we do need to put more money in that midfield and that attack, because that's essentially what let us down last season. But in terms of outgoings, apparently it's looking like, I have reported this in my last few videos, that Arsenal are looking to offload Nuno Tavares on a loan. With Zinchenko coming in, it's looking like Tavares is not going to get much game time, especially with Tierney as well. So yeah, I mean, for me, I think this is a really good thing for Nuno Tavares. I think he needs that game time. He's so raw, so young. He just needs somewhere he can get minutes, and I think Atlanta is a very good place for that, especially in the Italian league. Obviously, there's been a lot of discussion. Is there going to be an option on obligation to buy? Hopefully, it is an option. Hopefully, we don't. This isn't the end of Nuno Tavares. I really do hope. To one day for him to come back to Arsenal, and we really see the potential this guy has, and he can really exceed it. Because I really do like the look of Nuno Tavares. I think he's really good on. Sometimes he's very rash. That's the issue, but in terms of his playing style, I really like him. I like that directness he has. Not many fullbacks really have that. So for me, I really do hope Nuno Tavares does stay at Arsenal, and goes on loan, smashes, and comes back to Arsenal. And we're like, wow, what a great thing to have another left back, especially with Tierney injured. There's a chance that we may have to sell Tierney in the next few seasons, and Nuno Tavares becomes that left back. So yeah, hopefully it does work out. In terms of other news, this news really annoyed me. Apparently Fulham won 8 million for Bernd Leno, and apparently it's looking like it's going to be agreed. This news really angered me, because Bernd Leno, I'm going to admit, Bernd Leno is too good to be a second goalkeeper, but for 8 million only, surely Arsenal are not going to do that. Surely Arsenal are going to only accept 8 million for Bernd Leno. We just paid Matt Turner or something 10 million or something, and we're selling Bernd Leno, a proven Premier League goalkeeper, for 8 million. Arsenal are criminally bad at selling players. Bernd Leno minimum should be a 50 million pound player, because he's proven, he's played in the Premier League. We've seen how good this guy is. Yes, the last few seasons it wasn't the best, but he has shown that he's really good. And I can't, like, for me, even if we don't get to like for me at this stage, I want Arsenal to actually offer Bernd Leno a new contract. I think he's a really good keeper. I think he's the second best goalkeeper, like best backup goalkeeper in the Premier League. I'm confident to say that. And for only 8 million is a rip off. I can't believe Arsenal are accepting it, but it looks like Bernd Leno does want to leave the Premier League. But our final news comes from Edu. That's right, Edu. That's quite unusual for me to say that, but yeah, Edu's had an interview recently, following our Arsenal's American tour, and he's just been asking a lot of questions, just asking a lot of things, and I think it's quite interesting watching these. I feel like you really do get to hear a side of them that you don't get to see from the media. But apparently, some of the questions were like, it was just giving responses. But I think one of the responses that really really stood out to me was when he was talking about also paying off players to leave. So for him, he said that apparently, I'll just read it. Even though I'm sorry if you have to pay, to leave is better. I know it's strange when I go to the board and say sometimes it's better to pay a player to leave than maintain them, but he considers it an investment. So yeah, obviously I also have a big debate of we can't sell, all we do is pay off players. But for Edu, it's quite different to hear that. Apparently for him, I think he agrees with it. He says that also should pay off players. He actually defends it. He says that it's a part of an investment. Maybe he's right. I do get his view on it, because he might agree, he might feel that the money saved is not worth the hassle, having a player you don't want to be who doesn't want to be in the team. Maybe he feels like it's better if you just pay them and they're gone rid of from the environment, from the picture. And then this also really stood out for me. He says, tell me how many players in the squad we have with those negative characteristics. That really stood out to me. Is he taking shots at any former Arsenal players? Maybe he's taking a shot. I feel like this is such a shot at Bowen or someone, or Ozil. He says, I can tell you next summer, have a look at the valuation of the players we have, the age of the group, the salaries. Now, as part of the plan, we create value in our players today. So obviously, he's talking about the project. But I think that line, tell me how many players we have with those negative characteristics, it really stood out. I think he's trying to take shots, our previous players, like especially Ozil. I feel like this is just a shot at Ozil or Aubameyang. Obviously, they had a lot of dispute with during their Arsenal career. But yeah, guys, that's the end of today's video. Not much news. Maybe a few more. Sorry about that one. Maybe as the week goes on, the news does build up. But yeah, guys, the Premier League season is coming soon, so let's just hope and pray Arsenal are prepared and not embarrassed like we were last season. But yeah, guys, remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys next.